Welcome to Sunday Afternoon Porch Sitting, where laid-back conversations come to life. I'm Will.
And I'm Ryan, and we're inviting you to join us as we unwind and explore the essence of life in each episode.
Ryan, it's great to see you.
Did you open my chocolates from last week?
I have not. I've been saving them.
Oh. I'm glad I get you flowers this week because, I really felt like they would have stayed in the package and wilted.
They probably would have.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So today is the day that we are recording this. It's Sunday.
Today is the day we moved porches.
We did.
Yeah.
We are actually outside on a porch. And
on a Sunday afternoon.
On a Sunday after. Well, it's close enough to a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And we're fortunate enough to have a guest with us today. Aren't you excited about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited to have
this is a world premiere.
Kick Nelly on the show this evening.
Kick Nelly is going to be on the show. So we're going to introduce our guest today.
Working in the former world of the music industry here. We've got Mr. Kick Nelly.
Kick Nelly, everybody. Welcome to the porch.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So can I ask the important question here? Why are you wearing two microphones?
Well, I was told last minute I needed a headset, and all I have is my Xbox One.
I thought you had in-ear monitors.
I do, but they were in the truck, and I didn't want to go get them.
That's perfect.
In-ear monitors, is that what you use to drum?
Yes, it is actually.
I use drumsticks to drum.
I bet you do.
So we've got two percussionists in the house this evening.
We do.
On the back porch, not the
So
house.
if you hear a lot of tapping, that's why.
That's probably it.
Because I can't help it.
Stop that.
Oh, that's not tapping.
You're not allowed to make that noise on our podcast.
But yeah, those in-ear monitors, they're really nice actually. They're isolation headphones too. So like, I'll be playing gigs out at bars and stuff where there's like no carpet, like it's really loud.
Yeah.
And
you
I can control my own volume, and protect my hearing and hear everything else too.
TikTok and stuff.
Huh?
Isolate yourself to TikTok land.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have them molded, or are you just?
No, it's like the foam.
Okay.
Yeah, you just kind of shove them in there.
Yeah.
So what do you do to clean them to keep them from molding?
From molding? I'm not quick enough on these dad jokes. I'll catch on. Because for a second I was like, "What are you talking about?"
It went over my head, so it's
okay.
That joke did not land.
No, it didn't. It deserves one of these.
Audience, what do you think?
Don't. They had to hesitate. I think this one would have worked better.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We just press these buttons.
Press buttons.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, let's give a chance for Nick to introduce himself to our listeners.
Yeah, so all 20 of you. Hey, I'm Nick, and these guys have been my friends for a while now. I don't know how many years, but...
Define better friends.
Well, actually, I was just about to go off on that. But for those that don't know these fine young men, they truly are true friends of mine, and I haven't laughed as much in my entire life than the times that I've been with them, and so I'm just thankful that they gave me the opportunity to hang out with them tonight.
Yeah, some of our listeners might recognize Nick's voice, even though we didn't talk in it. You've been in a couple of famous TikTok videos.
I have, actually, yes.
Yeah.
Can you recreate those on the podcast?
Well, a lot of it was very visual. I could do that part.
Yeah.
But we were sitting on the back of a truck bed, though.
Sounds nice.
Having some fun.
I tell you, the first one we did, where we stopped at that Buc-ee's and we were trying to set up the camera to film us behind the beaver coming out, and the people just sitting there watching us, and somebody was kind enough to say, "Do you want us to just take the picture for you?" And we're like, "It's actually a video."
Actually, we want to have a video. Yeah.
And then pulling over, was it a Motel 6 parking lot, I think?
It was something very cheap, like a Super 8 or a Motel 6 or a...
Yeah.
And let's just...
What's the economy Best Western brand?
Let's just push each other around on the bed of your truck, because that's all we could come up with.
Yep. So that was, but yeah, I've done those trips with these guys down to San Antonio too, and it's always a lot of fun. So speaking of that trip, there's something that I brought for you today, a gift.
I feel so special.
For Will.
You are.
I got a gift
I was
last week.
inspired
I
by
hope you
last week.
actually open it this time. Like really.
Well, we're going to open it on, I was going to say on camera, but we're not on camera.
Live air.
Yeah,
Live air.
Our viewers are missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was truly inspired by Ryan's act of kindness last week. And so I just wanted to
I'm all about random acts
continue
of
that.
kindness.
This week. So if you wouldn't mind, just open this up for us and explain to our listeners what you're opening here.
I have a brown gift bag here with some yellow gift wrapping. No, not gift wrapping.
Toilet paper?
Tissue paper.
Oh.
Yeah, gift wrap paper. And inside of this, it's funny. I've been looking for these for weeks, months, and I've been saying, Nick, I need to.
What are you holding in your right hand? Why are you laughing so hard?
It's my sunglasses. That so the backstory. This is great.
I've been saving it just for this, by the way.
I didn't even know if you knew that you had them.
So I actually didn't know I had them until my wife cleaned out my backpack the other day because she needed it for a trip. And I saw them on the counter, and it was just when y'all were starting to record this, and I was like, oh, I can't wait.
So I was thinking, I don't remember that there was a time that I came over here, and I was like, I need to remember to ask Nick so I can get my sunglasses back because this is like my only pair right now. And so I've been blinded by the sun so often lately. And on the way over here, I was thinking, oh, hey, I need to remind Nick that I need to get my sunglasses. And we're sitting here. I don't know how we've been over here for like 45 minutes, maybe an hour. It still hasn't popped in my head to ask you for them. And then
Well, now you don't have to ask.
I don't. I have them
Like
back.
they're present.
I can't wait till I probably leave them here.
Yeah,
So I'm still looking for my Maui Jim sunglasses. Are they in your backpack too?
I can look.
Check, because I've been missing those for about 2 years
Hey,
now.
so I know y'all were talking about sponsors, right?
Yes.
We
So-
always are.
Have you ever heard of Shady Rays
No.
sunglasses?
If anybody from Shady Rays is listening to this podcast,
You can email them.
sapspodcast at gmail.com.
Sapspodcast at gmail.com.
So I found Shady Rays on Facebook. So it was one of those ads that just kind of pops up randomly, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, what the heck? I'll look into it. So they are legit sunglasses. They're nice. Okay. They model a lot of the kind of the Oakley Ray-Ban styles. Okay. And they're decently priced. They're about 30, 40, 50 bucks a pair. But the cool thing is once you buy a specific design, it's like you can get replacements for like 10 bucks anytime. So let's say you purchase a pair at the original price and you lose them. You submit a request and then they'll ship you a brand new pair for $10.
So I could have had probably like 3 pair by now.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's
It's so
awesome.
cool. Because
That's cool.
I lose them all the time. And like I had a pair of Maui Jims that I spent some good money on and lost.
Yeah.
I can't find mine.
You know? But these Shady Rays, they fit just as good as all the big brands. And
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 see,
if you lose them, you can, or if you scratch them or something or anything,
Yeah.
they'll send you a brand new pair.
well, these were a I'm in that Bespoke Post subscription box service, and this was a pair that came in for that.
Yeah.
I don't even know the brand of them. Oh, they're right here. Rainy. I don't know. Anyway,
But yeah,
I've
Shady
kind of-
Rays. You got to check them out.
Shady
man.
Rays.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a pair of Costas I really like, but I actually got these, for $10. They're Strike Kings for fishing.
Panama
Fishing.
Jacks.
No,
Fishing?
Strike King.
Oh.
Why do you have fishing sunglasses?
Because, I like to fish.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that you may have been on a trip
Dude,
recently.
I had a wonderful time. I was actually, fishing this morning. It was awesome.
Where
It
at?
was a weekend trip. Albert Pike, Arkansas. It's pretty cool. So the trip that we went on, I recently got into fly fishing. It's been a blast. If you want to fly fish, come over. It's
Is
great.
that when you're in a airplane and you're
I wish it was that cool. No, it's cooler.
did that
It's
land?
whimsical.
I was trying.
It's still in the air.
Okay.
Yeah. You're flying a lure into water, so you're basically like a pilot piloting a lure.
Okay, sorry to
onto the
interrupt you.
water.
Are the lures like do they look like flies?
Some of them do.
Okay.
So like you go to different parts of the United States and you look in the water and you look in the air and you see what's like hatching and all that kind of stuff and see where it's at in the life cycle. And they take these lures and they make it look like those things. So trout, who are particularly finicky about striking things, will bite them. And they're handmade. So it's pretty cool. It's expensive.
So if you have
It's
a
fun.
lure that looks like a trout, you could catch a bear.
Potentially.
But
I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Which bear is best?
Well, it depends. There's basically two schools of thought.
Black bear and brown bear
False.
and polar bear. There's 3 schools of thought.
Well, no, pandas aren't bears.
They're not?
No, they're marsupials, right? No, they're not marsupials. They don't have a pouch. They're like in the raccoon family or something.
Something like that.
And like the red panda is a bear or is not a
Yeah.
bear? No, I don't know. It looks different.
Is Kung Fu Panda a bear?
No, he's a martial artist.
Martial artist panda.
Yeah. I got a question about fly fishing that I've always wondered.
Ask.
So when I was a kid, went with the Boy Scouts one time to the a boat expo or whatever, and they had a thing where you could make your own fly fishing lures, and they did it like on the end of a pencil, like a eraser of the pencil. But I was like, well, okay, well, it's cool. I glued it to this, but how do I get it off? Like, what do I do from there?
So, typically you wouldn't, I have never seen that. So I wouldn't think that you would do that on the end
So
of
it
the
was-
pencil.
it was more like
Unless
an
it
arts
was a
and craft thing
practice.
that they were
Yeah,
doing
it's
with
probably
us?
practicing how to fly, lure, create, which is tough. I mean, it's hard.
All these years, that's why I've never fly fished.
I've got 20/20 vision, and I had to buy readers because these lures are so small. I couldn't even hardly run the line through the eye of the hook to tie the hook.
Does it ever actually hit the water? The lure?
Yes. but
Okay, so you just are flying it around and waiting until you're like, all right, this is the time to land.
you basically, it's all about the presentation. So some of these lures do not make like a big thud when they hit the water. It's like seriously, what I would consider like a feather flying through the air, and you just want to like lay it on the water where it just doesn't disrupt the water, and then it just goes along with the flow, and the fish see it as like a gnat or a fly landing on the water, and they'll come and attack it.
So do you work it? Like, what's the technique? Can you just give us a rundown of the
some
technique?
people do, like if it's an underwater sinking lure, some people will float the lure and they will work it a little bit, but if it's sitting on the top of the water, they'll let the float line is what that colored line is that goes up to the leader, the clear line. So that float line and the lure will go at the same pace and stuff like that. And that's what you want to do. You just want it to kind of go with the flow of the river and look as natural as possible. So you're taking things that are in the environment and that would naturally occur in the area, and you want it to look like they're in its natural environment.
And do you
Does that
have
make
to have a fly fishing rod, or can you use a normal?
No, you have to use a fly fishing rod. I can't even speak to that.
You got the F's backwards.
No, but anyway, it's cool. It's cool. It's fun. It's a lot more whimsical, and there's a lot more finesse that you have to have, because it's not taking your arm and like ripping it back and getting ready to cast. It's like you let the surface tension of the water hold the lure, and then you just basically flick up with your wrist, and you go to like 12 o'clock, and the line goes flying behind your head. You count to like 2 or 3, and then whip it back. And
That's
it goes
cool.
on, lay on the water. Yeah.
So when you were talking about fishing trip, I thought you were like going out on a boat. So you didn't go. You weren't boat fishing.
Waders and trudging the cold. It was 27 degrees. This
Nice.
morning. Going up the river, and my waders were leaking, which was fantastic. That was awesome.
Don't you have a boat?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Does it still run?
I don't know. I guess. I hope so.
I think we talked about that in episode 1.
Yeah. It's
I
been about
think.
7 or 8 months since I've been on it. But
Will, did you grow up with a boat?
No.
You know?
When I was like a junior and senior, I had a friend that had what I call like a John boat, flat bottom boat, aluminum, that didn't have an engine to it. So we used to take it out to the lake, and we were not good at paddling, and we'd spend like an hour, and we're like only 10 feet from the dock where we just launched.
it's exciting.
But that's the only like boat that I kind of owned.
So I did. We grew up with started off with a bass boat, 20-foot bass boat. I don't remember what kind
Is it
it
a
was.
skeeter?
Maybe.
Or Triton.
Or
I
Triton.
don't remember. It was, but all I remember about it, it's funny, is that it was 20 feet,
Yeah.
and that's like still to this day like how I judge distances of some things. Like if someone's like, "Hey, that's like 40 feet away," I'm like, "Okay, that's two bass boats that we had growing up." Okay, I can picture that.
Yeah.
Like I still do that.
So my dad was, he worked for like a small, what am I trying to say here? News station, TV station. There we go. TV station up in the Mount Pleasant area for a while, when I was growing up, and they used to have a fishing show on there, and he was the camera guy and editor and producer for all that show. And they used to go to all these lakes around East Texas and film this fishing show. It was called, no, I don't remember the name of it. Never mind. I can't remember the name.
Exciting.
But isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to. He's the guy that falls in the water all
Bill
the time.
Dance.
Bill Dance is my favorite
I thought that's
fisherman
where you were
ever.
going with
I
that.
wish. But he
I got a funny story about that in a minute.
he would go on this show, or he'd film it, and they'd spend all day out on the lake, and he'd get to fish the whole time and everything. Well, one time I got to be the special guest, and I was in 4th grade at the time, and we went to Lake Monticello, the power plant lake up there, and we fished all day. I didn't catch anything, but on the show they had me catching a fish because we staged it, because the fishing guide he'd catch a fish and he'd say fish on, my dad would get the camera and he'd hand me the rod. And so I'm actually quote unquote catching the fish, even though I didn't, and get it in the boat. And as soon as we're there, I just hand the rod back to him real awkwardly and pick up my rod. He's like, "Oh, you're going to change rods?" And I said, "Yep." Because I was just a little kid, didn't talk very much at the time.
Now look at you.
I know. But there was one time I went on that show. I wasn't a guest, but the boat was big enough that I could just sit in the back of it and fish while they were fishing. And there was a fishing tournament going on, and I actually caught a fish. And it was, to me, it was huge. It was almost a 4-pound bass. And the fishing tournament that day, I guess the fishing was pretty bad, because if I'd entered, I would have had the second largest fish in the tournament.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, bass fishermen, I feel like, just from, getting on my boat and being around other fishermen, I guess, over the course of this time, it's been pretty competitive, and they don't share tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. It's like heavily guarded secrets. That's the one cool thing about fly fishing. It's like, in the industry that we're in, we've got a lot of people that work together, and you can collaborate and talk about things and be more successful. And it's like with this whole fly fishing process, you run into at Albert's Pike in Arkansas this weekend. I would say we ran into like 12 different people, and they all would come up, "Hey, this is what we're using. This is what we're catching fish on. You ought to try it out and check it out." We would fish together. One of the guys came up, probably in his 50s or 60s, really cool guy. And so he's like, "Hey, you mind if I fish over here with you guys?" Because he saw us catching fish. And we're like, "Yeah, man, come on." And so he jumped in, and one of the guys that we were with said, "Yeah, you just have to give us all your fish, that you catch. And, this is going to be the thing." That guy knew that we wanted to have like a trout dinner, and gave us every single one of the fish that he caught and hung out with us. And he's like telling us all these stories. The dude at one point had like a fish on his rod, and he's standing there, and this fish is jumping out of the water. I'm like, "There's a trout on your line." He's like, "That's all right. I'll get to it in a minute." It's like, "Hey, I'm just
done this
standing
before.
here."
He's like the trout whisperer.
He is the trout whisperer. Got a cigar in his mouth. He's ready to go.
That's
Pretty
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, I grew up going to the lake a lot too with my dad, which lost him in 2016 to brain cancer. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but
Yeah.
I'm not trying to dumb down the mood or whatever. But that being said, we had a lot of memories, right?
Yeah.
A lot of memories growing
Good
up.
memories.
Yeah, great memories growing up on the lake. And started off with bass fishing, and then it got complicated and Dad wasn't catching so much, and then we switched to catfish because he knew I could sit in one spot all day and bait these catfish and catch these suckers. And we do. And even when I was dating my wife, we went out, and she caught one, and he taught her how to skin it and fillet it and all that. We fried it up that day. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've got a lot of fishing memories with my dad and everything too. My grandfather has a lot of land, and it's got a lot of ponds on it, and we used to go fishing there every time we were up there, and it would be bass, crappie, catfish, brim, just a lot of fun doing that. Sometimes we'd catch a turtle by accident. Cause
we were on the beach once, and a guy was out there fishing. He hooked a sea turtle on accident, and then he was reeling it in. He was trying to cut it, and of course it drew a big crowd. There was a lot of pressure on that guy because it was like, dude, you better
That's illegal.
better get this
You
thing
killed
out of
that
here.
turtle. You got so many witnesses around here.
This is not going anywhere good.
Yeah, but y'all talked about your favorite vacation last week, right?
Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Yeah. So I was kind of wanting to add on to that
Go ahead.
if I
Did it.
could.
So
So
you're telling us about you right now.
yeah. So we love going to the beach. That's our favorite vacation spot. And if you've ever been to the British Virgin Islands, you should go.
Is that near England?
A little bit. It's
little bit.
closer than where we are currently.
Same water, right?
Yeah, same water basically. But there's a small island. I don't know if you know where St. Martin is on the chain of
Kind of
British
like
Virgin
St.
Islands.
Martin, St. Lucia. All
I've
that
seen
kind of
it.
stuff.
I've seen
So
it on
it's-
International House Hunters.
Yes, and it's also the airport where the planes land, like right over
yeah.
over the beach.
Spotted it.
Yeah.
That's the house I've been hunting.
So,
What?
Sorry. Here, go ahead.
okay, so if you know where St. Martin is, it's a bigger island, but then there's a smaller island just north of it. It's 16 square miles. It's called Anguilla, and that is like our favorite vacation spot.
Is that the type of place where it's like you've got your room and then it's like you got the deck and you're the only ones out there and it's
talking
an
like-
island like the little things in the water and you're secluded by yourself and you can
Oh.
only get places by boats?
Kind of, sort of. Yeah,
That's what
kinda,
I have
sorta.
in my mind when I think about
So
that.
crystal clear water,
Yeah.
like glass, you
Yeah.
know, white sand. There were maybe 6 people out on the beach at a time.
Yeah.
Some of the best barbecue I've ever had. It was from this guy. It was called B&D's, and it's literally in his backyard. Like you pull up to his house and you park, and he's got a couple tents and he's got the smoker in the back. And you're like, I want a ribs and chicken and fish, you know, and they've literally just pull it off the smoker and hand it to you.
What did he look like?
It's actually she. So she was the pit master. Yeah,
God,
Plot
Ryan,
twist.
it's 2024. Come on.
I know. Crow power. But I went over there to.
What did she look like?
What do you mean?
Well, like you know, when you walk up, you're like,
She looked like
"Hey,
a-
welcome to B&D's." You know, what do you want to eat? What did she look like?
Well, their accents, it's hard to do their accent because it's a mix of British and Jamaican.
Yeah.
So you got to listen like B&D's. Like, I don't know. That's
R&R.
sounds more
I was just wondering.
That's not it.
Welcome to B&D's.
not like
Is
that.
it like
Not that one.
Trinidad?
Yeah.
Kind of like their accents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real thick, you know?
Yeah.
But I asked her, I was like, hey, how do you cook this? And so they make their own charcoal out of grape wood. So they have grapevines, I guess,
Yeah.
and they cut the wood off and make their own charcoal from it. And that's what they cook their barbecue with.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hadn't thought about like barbecuing with, I mean, it's a fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily
fruit
like a
wood.
tree, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But because that's what they have. That's what they have there.
Yeah.
You
What
know?
about barbecuing with orange trees?
I don't know. I don't
Think
think
about
I've
that.
ever heard about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
because there's
corn.
peach and cherry, apple,
Like, you know,
pecan. I mean, pecan's a fruit, right?
yeah. And there's a lot of good things that come from
Or
corn.
nuts or something.
Did you say corn?
Corn. Like you can get, you know, a lot of really good, you know, things, you know, like if anybody that works for Weller, you know, would like to sponsor this podcast.
We're
you
not
know.
asking for money, just some
Anyway.
of your product.
I can't, but you know, they can. You know,
Especially the 12
smoking
year
with corn.
version.
Think
Yeah.
about it. Think about it. Smoking with corn.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So I saw a video of a guy that cooked a steak using a bag of Doritos.
Are you
as the
talking about
fuel.
that guy on Facebook that makes all these things out of steak? Like he will take steak and cook it with corn or
Yeah,
miso.
He literally was a full bag of the nacho cheese Doritos as the fuel, and cooked it.
that's
But
interesting.
he also dry ages everything too. Is that the same guy? Have you seen that guy?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, there's a guy that dry ages everything. Like he'll dry age it in salt. He'll dry age it in like Doritos. He'll dry
Or
age
butter.
Yeah.
Which basically
Or a
it's
bunch of
all
different
salt,
things.
right? Isn't that what Doritos are, anyways?
Yeah,
It's just
essentially,
salt.
there's a bunch of sodium
Yeah.
in it. That's the thing about like a lot of processed foods because of the like salt's basically a preservative, right?
Yeah.
And so like sodium content is so high. You know, that's why they
Speaking
say.
of
Hold on. Oh, I was going to say that's why like it when they say you shop at the grocery store, if you want to be healthier, then you just shop around it. Don't go through the aisles
Oh, yeah.
because you know that's where all the fresh stuff is.
Huh.
You know, your proteins, your vegetables. I don't know how they feel about like bacon because that's cured and salt and stuff.
That's
isn't
on
it?
the
bacon's
outside.
healthy.
But wine is also on the outside too.
But wine's healthy
Yeah,
too.
you're right. I mean, they also have the frozen food section is on the outside of
Yeah.
our grocery store too.
And the lunch meats.
And the lunch
the
meats.
Lunchables.
Yeah, so maybe and the bakery
Ooh.
too.
Yeah.
With all of the cakes and stuff and breads.
What's your favorite junk food? Like your one guilty
My
pleasure.
go-to guilty pleasure junk food.
I've got okay, I'm not a big sweets guy, so that's how come I hadn't opened the box of
Brian's
chocolates.
cheesecakes is my guilty one. I am a sweets guy. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, if Brian's Cheesecake is listening to our podcast, we
Bring
will
me a
accept
cookie butter
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Man, that place
Lynette's
is so
favorite
good.
things. Cheesecake.
Yeah.
That's mine.
But that's not I mean,
But
that's
like
a
something
place
you can get at the gas station or something. You know, like if you're on
Yeah.
a road trip, what's like your favorite junk food?
Peach rings.
peach rings.
Yes.
The gummy
peach
peach
rings.
Peach rings,
I thought,
yeah.
I figured you would say the gummy bears from Buc-ee's.
That too, but
Don't
there's
you
not
do the
always
peanuts and the
Buc-ee's
Dr.
around.
Pepper too?
No.
You don't do that?
Ugh.
I've done that before, but I was in high school. Like it's been years.
Fix
don't
to
do that
throw
either.
up. No.
We used to do Skittles and Dr. Pepper also.
That's disgusting too.
I would say my favorite like junk food is it's Doritos and it's the like sweet spicy chili flavor.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Love that. So good to me.
I love munchies. You ever had
Those are
munchies?
good. The flaming hot or the regular ones?
Just the regular. I tried
Yeah.
the Flamin' Hot. It was a little much, but like
Yeah.
it's a good mix of everything. Chex Mix is okay, but Chex Mix gets boring, you know.
Yeah.
But Munchies just takes it to another level. I
You know,
think.
for a while there was a big craze on was it what was that pretzel? Was it It wasn't Snyder's.
Dots.
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 It was Dots
Yeah.
pretzels.
Those are good.
Everybody's going crazy over.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
They are. We did a caramel apple bar at work, you know, to celebrate the people that we work with. And so one of the toppings for the caramel apples was the, you know, Dots, the
Dots
cinnamon sugar.
pretzels.
Yeah, the cinnamon
that.
sugar ones. It was so good.
I'm just so amused out here on the porch here at Nick's house, and I love having the windows behind us and your dogs keep
Just
looking
staring
at
at
us.
us.
They're a
Yeah,
little
they might need to be
audience.
the next guests on the show.
They're so cute.
Yeah, we've got two little dogs. They're poodle Shih Tzu mixes.
Yeah,
So you can be creative on the putting those two words together.
yeah.
But yeah, Pearl and Cooper, they're
I don't think I can say what I want to say on air. What I would say. The mix.
but yeah, they're cute. They're fun. We love them. They're good dogs.
Yeah, yeah. They're friendly. Because my dog is not. Well, I mean, she's friendly once you know her, but if she doesn't know you, she's very protective. But she's not aggressive. Like she's not going to come bite you, but she's just going to bark nonstop and say, "This does not belong here. You don't live here," and all this stuff. She's a American
Yeah.
Eskimo.
Nice.
Is her breed?
So going back to you said you were celebrating your staff or the
Yeah.
people you work with
Yeah.
some food.
Yeah.
So I'm actually in the process of prepping some barbecue for the people that I work with too.
They're going to love it.
Yeah. So
You've been doing that a lot.
I am. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I think
Yeah.
that might be my next venture.
Big
I think.
project.
A barbecue restaurant, you think?
Either that or like a truck or a trailer. You know, do some tailgating or
Like a restaurant and a mobile home.
events.
Yeah.
Kind of like
That's-
Breaking Bad.
So what kind of barbecue trailer are we talking about? Not a mobile home?
No, not a mobile home. Like the ones that you see those FFA groups make.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I don't know the technical terms. I want the trailer to have two wheels on both sides. You know what I mean? Not
So
just
double
one.
axle.
Like a dual axle?
Double axle.
Yeah.
Okay. And then a reverse flow smoker. So where the firebox and the smokestack are on the same side,
Yeah.
and there's a deflector plate underneath it.
Right.
And then some storage in the back, and then I really want a Blackstone on the trailer as well.
A griddle?
Yeah.
What would you do on that?
So just
Brisket?
Brisket and hibachi, baby.
yeah. Because you really
Brisket
want
and
to get that
hibachi.
good crust. You know, you want to like
Yeah.
sear it
Right.
Oh.
first and then
thought-
smoke it.
I thought we were having like an Asian barbecue fusion restaurant.
No,
Well,
just like if you, I don't know, if you're tailgating or whatever, and you want to throw some burgers on or anything really.
It's funny. There seems to be a lot of people that are in like the education field that also have, I'm not going to call it dreams, but desires to open up some kind of food establishment or something, because I'm the same way. I want to open up a pizza restaurant that's an Irish pub. Well, not a pizza restaurant. It's an Irish pub, and you have to have food also. So I'm going to serve pizza. And it's only going to be one type of pizza, and pepperoni pizza, and we're going to call it the Lucky Pepperoni. And we're going to pour Guinness correctly. We're going to serve only Irish beers and whiskeys, and we're going to play a lot of Irish music.
Like Jeremiah Red from BJ's?
Yeah, no, not that.
Not that?
No, it's got to be real
Real.
Irish.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'd probably be the only place in Texas that I know of that would have Murphy's Stout on tap. But you just have to find the suppliers that would have that. But that's my hopes and dreams one day when I retire and make all of that teacher retirement money. That's a whole lot.
What about you, Ryan?
I'm
fishing
not
guide?
opening a restaurant by any means. That's too much work. No, I'm going to retire. I think I'm going to move out of state and go pull 5 years and then get a double retirement.
Yeah.
But if I did anything like business wise, I'd open up a charter bus company.
Okay.
That'd be my thing, like
You'd
a
be good
travel
at that.
agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'd want to do. So,
That's awesome.
or a fly fishing charter service if I get good enough at it.
Yeah, you can do it while flying.
Yeah,
Like
from a plane, from a
it'll
helicopter.
be the first. It's like hunting wild hogs from a helicopter, except you're hunting wild trout from a plane.
Yeah. So there's a native fish species here in Texas, okay, called the pickerel, okay, and it's related to the pike, and apparently you can only find it in I think Lake Caddo.
Caddo
And
Lake. Yeah.
there is it was funny because we were laughing about it. Apparently there's a big fly fishing thing where people come to Texas to fly fish for pickerel. And we're like, how have we never heard about this? And it's right down the road, maybe 2 hours.
I know we're going back around here to the fly fishing, but it just came into my mind. Can you only fly fish in shallow water? Could you go
No.
to Caddo Lake?
Yeah. Everything that you fish for
Yeah.
with a rod and reel, regular, you can fly fish for. So my buddy that I went with,
But
has
only
stopped
in
using,
only in shallow water?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
can do it, in any type of water that you want to. My buddy, has a kayak and he'll go to Lake Tyler regularly and, bass fish with a fly fishing rod. So it's pretty cool.
So I could go out on a boat in Lake Michigan and fly fish
If you want to, if your heart so desires.
right in the middle of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you'd want to, fly fish in 80-some foot of water.
You have to have a heavy fly.
Heavy fly.
And a heavy rod.
Hey, I think this is a good time to we'll check our email,
Well-
see if any of our listeners.
Can I
Wrote
tell
in.
you about something that I was a little bit scared of while we were in Arkansas?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so we got this cabin, VRBO, okay, and it was right on the Little Missouri River.
VRBO?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, as I'm laying there going to sleep, the only thing I can think of looking out the little crack in the window, through the blinds is what if Sasquatch is really here? Because I think there's a recent sighting of Sasquatch.
Do you mean
And so-
Bigfoot?
Yeah, that one. Bigfoot.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
not Sasquatch. Why did I say Sasquatch? But I was scared to death. I was having an anxiety attack.
Well, I mean,
Now-
Sasquatch, that's the Jack Link's mascot.
Yeah, but here's the deal, okay? There's been a lot of weird things in the news lately regarding wildlife and being out in wildlife. A hiker, I think in Rhode Island this week, was attacked by a rabid coyote and killed it with his bare hands while he was hiking. And tests confirmed that it was a rabid coyote. But could you imagine? That stuff kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety.
I mean, isn't that kind of the thrill of camping, though?
But what would your success rate if it was a rabid bear?
Oof.
Oof.
Not good.
Slim to none.
Less than 5%.
It's at least, he was able to kill the coyote and test it and find out so he could get the, vaccination shot.
Have you seen the handguns that those guys carry to
What?
protect themselves from those bears, though?
Yes, but
Don't you just make yourself bigger than the bear?
not a rabid one. They're
No.
dead set on killing. Have you been around a rabid animal before?
No, I haven't.
It's kind of spooky. Okay.
What if you pee yourself? Doesn't that get the bear
That
to
does
go away?
nothing. No.
Nothing.
That's for jellyfish.
That's
stings.
jellyfish.
You're
stings.
right,
Yeah,
sorry.
That's not bears. But here's the bigger thing, okay? After reading
for
this
bear
news
stings.
article my
When a bear
anxiety is
pees on
super
you.
heightened because what if Bigfoot has rabies? That is a lose-lose for you and Bigfoot because eventually he's gone, but he's going to take you out on his way out.
Yeah, but wouldn't your name go down in history as like you're the guy that found out that there is Bigfoot and that he has rabies?
Listen,
Okay, better question. Who gave Sasquatch rabies? How did he get them?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, excuse
I
me.
messed up too. It's okay.
How did he get them?
He is a
Because
Sasquatch,
don't
though,
you have
right?
to get it from another?
Yeah, but if you eat an animal that's got rabies, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
It's a contagious.
And do you know there's no
So-
cure for rabies?
You can get a vaccination early stages,
Right.
but ultimately, once you're past a certain point, no, there's
I
no
do know
cure.
a good fundraiser,
Yeah, I do too. A fun
a
run,
fun run,
right?
a 50K,
Yeah.
or 500K,
I think it
whatever.
was just a 5K.
Yeah,
No, you're right. It started out that high.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
my
in
mind,
fact, the first year they did that fun run, they raised, I think, like $180 or something.
And it wasn't in a circle.
No, they donated it to science. That's who they made the check
Minus
out
how
to.
much the check cost.
so yeah, my anxiety was a little bit heightened the first night because I was worried about, a rabid.
So
So if you can't tell, we like to watch The Office.
love it.
And there's probably a lot of references that we make to The Office. I say we like I'm on the show all the time. I make references to The Office a lot.
I do too. It's okay.
Yeah.
I do a lot.
Clarice.
I will say it reminds me as a kid on a Boy Scout camp out thing. By the way, I was never in Boy Scouts, but all my friends were, so I would get to
There's
go
a
with them on
merit
these
badge
things.
for fly fishing.
Yeah. Well, there's a merit badge for everything.
You have to catch a fish, but no, this is a rare merit badge because there are not a lot of fly fishing instructors. Fly fishing is not a really big art around here.
Yeah, they're at the
Anyway.
boat shows making lures on the end of pencils. I'd have been the idiot tying that thing to a string. I've got a pencil with the lure on the end. Just throwing it. Anyway, I was going to say that we were at a camp out and we were in like separate tents. And I remember coming out of the tent that I was in and all of these snacks and everything were thrown all over the ground at the campsite. Like, come to find out, the other tent, there was a raccoon that came into the tent.
Was it rabid?
And I guess it was. And they didn't know what to do. So they just started throwing all these bags of chips and stuff at it. And it just went nuts with it outside of the campsite. But it might have been a rabid raccoon.
It could have been. If it's scared of
I
water,
didn't ask
it's
its
probably
name,
rabid.
so I don't know if it was rabid or not.
Because rabid animals have hydrophobia. It's one of the things.
They're scared of water?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is? I was just guessing.
No, that's what it is, hydrophobia.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, there's that.
All right. So should we check our email?
Check your email.
See if we had any listeners write in. And, oh, we did. This one is from a Chris Clifton. I had to switch his C's so that we kind of disguise his name. He says, long-time listener, first-time caller, Ryan.
Emailer.
Ryan, what are your thoughts on Yard House and Francisco? Has he been spotted lately? Sincerely, Carl King.
Yeah, Carl King. Chris Clifton, Carl King.
Same
No,
person.
I haven't, man. I haven't seen Francisco in a while, and I'm kind of upset that you've seen him last, and I haven't.
did.
And we talked about him. We were going to introduce like the story about him. I think in the first episode,
I think we were going to talk about
but
it.
we didn't.
No.
So there's a funny story with Francisco. So that for those
I
of
don't
you
know
that
if
don't
Nick
know,
knows this.
Francisco, like
Francisco. That's all I think of.
we would go to Yard House, after so we were there for what TMEA, TBA,
Francisco Fay.
Yeah. TMEA, TBA, there are some other events that we go down to San Antonio for. And so we like to eat at the Yard House. And so Francisco was our waiter. And so we got to know him over some time. And, I talked to him pretty frequently. He's a pretty cool dude, pretty cool story, pretty cool background. He needs to be a guest on the porch,
He
one
does.
day.
You have his number.
I do. I should call him and ask him about it. So anyway, Francisco, I guess we took a picture with him at, was it TMEA or TBA? It was one of the two.
It was TBA where y'all like first had him as a server.
Yeah.
There because you were celebrating what you had just won.
Yeah. Okay. The big event thing. Yeah. That
Yeah,
was cool.
I wasn't there for that.
So yeah. And then you got to know him over the course
We
of a
came
couple of
back.
trips.
We came back for the state marching contest. It's my
Yeah.
first year to do it, and we went to the Yard House after we had the dinner on Sunday night.
Yeah. And you got to know him.
well, Francisco was our waiter for that, and you didn't know him at this time, but you said that guy. I think that's the same waiter that was celebrating with us when I won the OPS award this past summer. And you asked him, he's like, "Yeah, that was me." And
we got a picture with him.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh, it's this guy." And so every time we'd gone back to Yard House, we'd always ask for his table, and we get caught up with him and everything.
But this was the course of years. It wasn't just a couple of visits. So, going to San Antonio, you
every time we would go, like, so 3 times a year, basically.
Yeah. And so we frequently got to know him better and better and better. And, I guess I remembered him, in the course of, the time, and he remembered us, and stuff like that. Cool dude. So then, I'm sitting on my couch, at home, and I think I had posted, or I sent you that picture or something like that. You had seen the picture again, and you sent me this message, and you're like, "Ryan, isn't that the guy that's in your profile picture on Facebook?" Yeah. Now,
somehow I was looking at your profile picture for some reason.
That's kind of weird.
And in the background, I know
that you're studying my profile picture on Facebook.
In the background of your photo,
there's a waiter. And I was like, "That's Francisco." Yeah. So the crazy thing about it is that my profile picture, which had been my profile picture for 6 years, by the way, at that point, because I checked the timeline on that. And so I was eating with, our really good friends, for dinner that evening. It was at TMEA one year. And there was a restaurant on the bottom floor of the River Center by the river. And it was an Italian restaurant. Yeah, I can't even remember the name of it.
It's not there anymore.
No, it's not. And so we were eating there. And
in fact, I think there's been 2 other restaurants that have since come and gone from that same point.
That's a really good picture of me. I'm going to, crop it and make it my profile picture. Well, for 6 years, Francisco was my waiter. And, we asked him the next time that we went in, "Hey, did you work at that Italian restaurant downstairs?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was a waiter there for a little while." So we pulled that profile picture up and showed him. And he's like, "That's me." So, yeah. So, yeah, Chris, thanks for bringing up that good memory. That was an awesome time.
And now he's one of the line cooks there. But
I think he's kind of more in management too now.
Yeah. And
which is cool.
Like a trainer or something.
Yeah.
And it was TBA this summer. It was TBA that I went and you weren't there. And
I'm not in that profession anymore.
No, you're not. You said, I was like, "Hey," I couldn't remember his name because it'd been a while since we'd seen him. And I said, "What's his name? What's his name?" And I said, "Fernando." And you were like, yeah, it's Fernando. And I asked the waitress, I said, "Hey, is Fernando back there?" And she's like, "Who?" And I said, "Fernando, he used to be a server." And
she's like,
and she's like, that's not, there's nobody here named that. And I was like, "Oh man, he must not work here anymore." And then I said, "Wait, no, it's that guy right back there." And I pointed to him. She's like, "Oh, you mean Frankie?" And I was like, "Francisco, that's it."
But we never called him Frankie.
And so he comes out and he's like, "I don't even know if I want to talk to you because you didn't even get my name right." And I was like, it was Ryan. And I showed him the text. I said, it's Ryan's fault.
Yeah, but I was just kidding. I wanted to see if you would follow through.
So I took a picture with him and sent it to Ryan and everything.
What's cool about that story though is I bet a lot of people have regular waiters and waitresses that they have met throughout their lives. If they frequent a restaurant enough.
Yeah.
And that relationship that you form, it's just, you wouldn't form that relationship outside of that setting. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of time, people just don't take the time to do those kinds of things.
True. Yeah. And then you miss out on.
And I'm real big into that. You take the time, get to know people,
Yeah.
People say I talk too much, but I think it's important,
No. You don't talk that much.
You don't either.
No, thanks. I'm always worried that I do. I used to not, though. I don't know, growing up, when I'm around my family, I'm very much in my shell, and I'm not especially out in public, I'm not something that I can strike up a conversation with anybody, and I still am that way to a certain extent. But once I get to know somebody, I'll open up and start talking, and you can't get me to shut up.
Did you ever take a personality test?
No.
Okay, I did. I'm ISTJ. I'm an introverted extrovert, I guess. I find my energy from being with myself, and I think that's why I like fly fishing, being out there, alone or with a small group of people. And I've got a very public job, but the thing about it is, I find my energy just kind of being in small groups of people.
Nick, are you introvert or extrovert?
I don't know.
Think about it for a second.
Yeah,
we got to have the conversation here. We're getting deep on the porch.
Yeah, to an extent, a little bit of both, because I like to people, you know.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, I just want to be by myself. So like that's when I'll go to the golf course. I love playing golf. I'm not very good at it, but I like to go by myself.
I'm not either.
A lot, and I've got a little push cart, and I'll just walk. And I don't know, that time is important too, I think. But
I admire that you can play golf by yourself, because it's something that I have done, and I've done it a lot. But I'm always like, oh hey, I'm happy, I'm going to go play golf, and by the third hole, I am so mad because I'm not good at golf, and I was expecting like, oh, I should be good at this. No,
Yeah.
I'm not, and.
Do you compete
But when
with yourself?
I do. I'm like, oh, I should have made that putt, or I shouldn't have hit it into the woods so many times, or, but when I play with other people, I'm much more relaxed because generally they're around my same skill level and we can laugh at each other.
as long as you stretch beforehand.
What's the name of your
You're
golfing
right.
alter ego?
My golfing alter ego?
Yeah, like when you get mad at like yourself, what is the name of yourself? Like when you refer to like your other person.
Ooh,
You know what I'm talking about? Because you say I
Yeah.
get mad at myself, and it's like
I do. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I'm terrible with names, so I can't come up with anything right now.
all the names that I'm thinking about right now is like I know some of these people and they're good people, but I can't.
You don't want to
I
say,
don't want to say it.
You don't want to call them out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marigolds.
marigolds.
No, I know Marigold, and they're a good person. Oh no! We talked about this. Not Marigold, daffodils.
Daffodils.
They're the
Yeah.
pests
Daffodils.
of flowers.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
You
But
know.
the thing about golf, you got to remember too that so my wife's grandfather, he's over 80 and he plays twice a week, and I'll go with him every now and then, and he'll see me getting frustrated. He'll look at me and he says, "You don't play enough to get mad at it." I was like, "Okay, Pappy, you're right. Yeah, I don't. And that's you just have to. It's a mindset that you have to take.
there
going
there
in
was
there.
one
It's
time
not worth it.
There was one time where I was going golfing with a friend, but a couple of days ahead of time, I'd gone and played golf also, and I'd like done pretty good that round, and so I was like, "Oh man, I can't wait to play with him because I'm gonna beat him pretty bad or whatever." No, it was one of the worst rounds I've ever had.
Did
Yeah.
you watch the Genesis tournament this weekend?
No, I didn't. Oh, I saw the Tiger had to withdraw.
Yeah,
right?
he did.
'Cause of
Yeah,
the
flew. Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
still played like 6
A or
holes.
B.
something.
I couldn't tell you. I
like
did see a post though.
specificity.
This group of people camped out on hole 8 for over 5 hours waiting on Tiger, and then he went home after 7.
Did he like yak on the course or something?
I don't know. I don't know if he had a fever or what, but
Was he wearing a mask?
on a golf course.
I mean,
It's outdoors. That
That's
was
a
an
thing now.
That was an activity listed under the safe COVID.
But what's crazy about this tournament this weekend?
Yeah.
Hideki
Yeah.
Matsuyama, is that how you say his
Matsuyama?
last name?
Yeah.
I don't even think he was in. He might have been in the top 10, but he was a good 2 or 3 groups ahead of the leaders and ended up winning the thing. He shot 9 under
For a final round?
for this final round. He had 9 birdies,
Oh my goodness.
and the rest were pars. It was nuts.
Wow. Where was it at?
It's at that Riviera
Oh, okay.
over in California.
Yeah.
Yeah. 9 birdies.
Wow. That's
Like-
probably how many total I've had in my entire life.
I don't even think I have had that.
Oh, I mean, I
I don't even know what a birdie is. So
They
There
go
were-
chirp, chirp. They
Yeah.
fly around.
I mean, it's okay. We don't score them enough to know what they are either. There was
Because
like
I'll probably like drop 2 or 3 and then still, but don't count those. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I birdied that.
there was some hole that I think it was like a short par 5 or something, and I hit like the cart path and it rolled up and it kicked and went onto the green. I was like, oh my goodness, and then I like 3 putt for a birdie.
if there's anybody from Tidal East or Easy Go Golf Carts that are listening to the show and you want to sponsor this podcast, it's about the only 2 golf things that I know.
All right, so the question of the week on our social medias that we have, Instagram and Facebook.
Has anybody responded first?
Nobody's
Okay, so then
responded.
ask the question so we can answer.
All right, so the question this week was, I'm paraphrasing here because I'm not going to look it up. It was something about what's a movie that you cried at, and maybe it's a movie that you're embarrassed that you cried at,
I
or you
knew
don't want
this was
anybody.
coming. No, I will tell you hands down what the last movie that I cried at was.
And I'm not
All right.
embarrassed about it either.
Me
All right.
either.
I mean, I'm not embarrassed by mine either. because I thought it was touching. But
You want
Go
to ask
ahead.
me mine?
yeah, go ahead.
Ask me.
Ryan, which one was yours?
Wonka.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's the last movie I cried at for real. Like, oh my gosh.
So I finally saw that.
Yeah. What do you think?
It was okay.
It was a 10 out of 10 for
No,
me.
it was a 7 at best.
No.
At best.
Where's your rubric?
I will say it's Casablanca is a 10. It comes down.
You know, I think Casablanca is. Never mind. Go
I've
ahead.
never seen that.
I haven't either.
Well, y'all are missing out.
So I don't know if this was the last movie I cried at, but it's the only one that I remember crying at, and it was Toy Story 3.
Thank God you didn't say The Notebook, because I thought that's where that
Toy
was
Story
gonna
3. Toy Story 3 came out the summer that I graduated high school, and I was going off to college, and Andy was going off to college too in that movie, I think. Was that Toy Story 3?
Yeah, I think so.
And I went with a bunch of friends of mine from high school. We had all just graduated, so we had all these emotions about moving off and going off to college and stuff. And then here's this movie that we've grown up watching since we were little.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like my generation's Disney movie, you know, because it followed Andy as he grew up. And man, when he got in that car and drove off, I mean, I looked over and all of us were just bawling.
Yeah.
Was that the one that they left the toys off to the side in a box? Or was that Toy Story 2?
I don't know. There's
you
like
know what I
six
mean?
of them now.
Yeah. I don't know. They're coming out. But
Yeah.
that was the one with the bear, right? Or was that
Yeah.
Toy Story 4?
I think that was 3.
Yeah. No, that one was sad.
So-
all of them kind of get sad
Yeah.
at the end. Maybe not the first one so much, but the rest of them.
Well, you know, when I was watching Wonka, not trying to change the subject here, like I looked over at my sister and we're both crying at the same time.
What scene?
The scene that
Spoiler alert.
yeah, if you haven't seen Wonka yet, turn this. Actually, keep playing this episode. We need the view count,
Yeah.
or listen count. Anyway, it was the scene where number one, I think knowing where pure imagination comes from, that song, okay, and that was that moment. All right, and then when it got deeper into the moment where pure imagination started playing, and then, well, even before that, where like he saw his mom, and you see where the golden tickets came from.
Yeah.
You know, and when he opened that golden ticket and he found, because, you know, at first he questioned like if his mom was really going to be there.
Right.
You know, and then the moment when he opens the wrapper and it says, you know, it's the people you make, you know, the chocolate with, the memories with, right, that enjoy the moment with you. And he looks up and sees his mom. I start crying there. Okay. And then pure imagination starts playing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. And I start crying more. And then when, you know, he finds that little girl's mom, and then you see, you know, her like picture, you know, because it shows this picture of her memory of her mother, and it shows this house, a drawing of the house. And then all of a sudden, like, you start seeing, you know, the dream of the house again, and it's that scene where her mom's walking outside, and it's the library that her mom works at, and then he's like, you know, I found your mom, and I was like, you know, of course, you know, it was awful, but it was ugly cry.
And it's also cool how part of that moment you wouldn't have had unless the music played.
Yeah,
And so how much music inside
helped
of
it,
movies draws that emotion out.
absolutely, and it's like the nostalgia from watching the other movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and
and
knowing the
there were
story.
so many throwbacks to,
the original movie,
or the nod to the movies, like
Yeah.
the coin
yeah.
that fell through the grate, you know.
The coin falling through the grate, you know, the chocolate bar, you know, with
Yeah.
Wonka on it. How he, and I think one of the first ones that I really paid attention to, according to Great, was a good one. But when he signs the contract for the room, she was like, check the fine print.
fine print,
And I'm
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this is where, you know, that came from too.
Yeah.
It was cool.
No, I mean, it was a good movie. I don't know. Maybe it's because I wanted the what do you call it, Oompa Loompa,
Yeah.
to be more prominent, because it's like all of the previews, that's all you saw basically was Hugh Grant.
But that was pretty funny that Hugh Grant was the balloon.
It was pretty funny in how they did it. I think the movie that I cried at last was the Elvis movie
I
with
haven't seen
Austin
that yet
Butler.
still. Is it good?
The ending, spoiler alert, you know, he dies.
Elvis?
Yeah.
I don't know. 'Cause
Okay.
people say
Hold on.
they see
I'm
him
gonna go.
walking around all the time.
I want to go into this. Okay. I didn't mean for this to segue into it, but we're going to in a second. The part where it's it's supposed to be a video of his last concert,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't televised. This is actually a concert before, I think. But he's sitting there, and I think he's singing the Everly Brothers. What's that song from Ghost? Hold on while you look it up. I have to edit this out, apparently, or Scare Me Trickling.
Unchained Melody.
Unchained
dude.
Melody.
What are you
That's
talking
it.
about? It's like every homecoming game that every band plays at. It's Unchained Melody. I don't know.
You're right. It's Unchained Melody, and they do a really good job of transitioning from Austin Butler Elvis into the actual footage. It's like
Of Unchained
seamless
Melody.
of him singing, Elvis sitting at the piano singing Unchained Melody, and they have some like throwbacks to the movie that they're doing. And I don't know, just watching the movie and all of the crap that he had to go through with his manager, and just knowing what happens to Elvis and what talent he had, and it's just, I don't know, it just overcame me, and I was like, this is just really sad, and I was
Yeah.
crying, not bawling, but somebody's cutting onions.
Yeah.
So to
For the
segue into this,
popcorn, cutting onions for the popcorn at the
That's it.
movie theater.
that's it. There was a TikTok that I saw, and I don't know why it came across, but there is, I'm going to open TikTok real quick. It's probably going to make noise. There's a guy that they think that everybody's like, this is Elvis, that this guy is Elvis, because they're like, he's old, even though like, I think this guy was born in 52 and Elvis was born in like 39 or something.
Yeah.
Like Elvis, if he's alive today, I think would be like 98 or something, like pretty old. No, 89 is how old he would be around. It doesn't matter, whatever. Anyway, so this guy, he's a pastor in Arkansas, I think, or Tennessee. His name's Bob Joyce.
I hope it's not a snake handling church.
I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
He does kind of look what you would imagine Elvis would look like at the age. And there's some like videos of his service of him singing, and he does kind of sound like him. I'll play this one and see. Let's see if we can get it.
When my soul
I mean, doesn't it
was
kind of?
disturbed
Can I look at his face?
with sorrow,
He's got the same kind of vibrato.
and when my heart
It's
was
similar.
overburdened,
If Kenny Rogers and Elvis Presley had a baby, that's what he would
I was
look
going to
like.
say that, or Michael McDonald.
He came from somewhere out of the heart.
of mercy,
Islands in the stream.
and he tenderly
And he does a couple of songs that are Elvis, but they're like, oh, he's got a scar on his left eyebrow just like Elvis did or something.
Yeah.
And let's see if this one is. See what song this is. Oh, this is How Great Thou Art. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that Elvis faked his death or anything like that. And I don't know if he's like trying to be Elvis.
Do you think anybody's asked him, hey, are you Elvis?
Is
Oh,
that,
surely.
Like, is that you, or is that
What?
Elvis?
Oh, the other thing.
Yeah.
The other thing, the reason why people are like, he's definitely Elvis is because there's like a picture of him. He's got his car pulled up into the front of Graceland, and he's unloading something from the back of it and going inside the house. And they're like, why would anybody else be doing that?
So my best friend growing up,
Maybe there was a tribute party.
his dad actually had the whole get up and like would sing and do gigs as Elvis. Like he was a legit
Did you
Elvis
try his outfit,
impersonator.
Elvis outfit on?
No, I did not.
Oh,
Did he
man.
wear like the jumpsuit?
Yeah, he had like
Like
all of it.
rhinestones and
leisure
everything?
suit, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh my
And he did.
gosh.
He had the hair like, and he actually did a pretty dang good job.
Huh.
I
Yeah.
think if I was going to be an Elvis impersonator, like they're always wearing that, like the late Elvis,
Yeah.
It's like hardly anybody does early Elvis attire or something. Is there a plane flying?
Yeah, he's fly fishing.
He's fly fishing.
He's fly fishing. And I've got some funny stories I'm going to have to tell you guys. Maybe it's not appropriate for the podcast, but
Yeah.
it's kind of funny.
About Elvis?
No, fly fishing.
Oh.
These guys, like we've got some people that need to come on the show. Like they'll be really good on our show.
Well, you talked about Bigfoot earlier.
Yeah.
I had somebody when I was telling them about the podcast, they said that they're
Don't ruin the surprise.
okay. I won't say
Because if
anything
they're
then.
on the show and we're talking about that, that might be really cool.
I just don't know.
Is there a Bigfoot theme song?
Bodum, bodum.
Yeah, whatever the Harry and the Hendersons.
And he's quirky.
Yeah,
He's spooky and he's
That's not the words.
sporty.
that's not the words.
No, I'm just making one up.
Did you say sweaty?
No.
Oh.
Nick, have you enjoyed your time on the porch with us?
I have. Yes, I've enjoyed the time on my porch.
Well,
This was great.
You're right. It is on your porch. Well,
What was your favorite part of getting to participate in the show?
the end.
I think
That's what he's gonna say when it's over.
When
I
it's
think the church microphone
The church microphone has
is my-
special powers.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Would you give us a little song with your favorite church hymn on the church mic?
Oh gosh, you did not. That's why I'm a drummer. You don't want to hear me sing.
Beulah Land.
That's okay.
Oh,
Well, I mean, I've enjoyed our time with you. You got anywhere to go right now?
No, actually, I don't.
Well, I think we might could bring you back next week too.
Yeah,
if
that'd
you
be
want
great.
to.
I think. Let me check my schedule. Yeah, I'm pretty wide open. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, take us out.
all right. As the sun sets on another Sunday afternoon porch sitting, we appreciate you sharing this laid-back journey with us.
As always, until next time, stay relaxed and enjoy the simple moments.